Right, so yesterday we did course diagram problems. This one is the same thing. Remember now I said to you yesterday, there's going to be a hint that tells you you're going to have to use the course diagram. Okay. And your hint is going to be two pieces of information given. Okay, first piece of information, second piece of information. Okay. Right, so the first piece of information is going to tell you whether your ratio is positive or negative. Okay. But the problem is over here, we don't have the ratio alone on the left-hand side. You understand? Okay, we don't have the ratio alone on the left-hand side. So basically what we're going to have to do over here is we're first going to have to solve like we did, remember when we pushed shift? Okay, to get the ratio alone, and then we're going to see if it's positive or negative. Okay, so we've got 13 sin theta plus 12 is equals to 0. Okay, we need to get sin theta alone on the left hand side. So first things first, sin theta is attached to the 13, right? Okay, so what's going to have to go over first is the 12, and when we take the 12 over it becomes a negative. Okay, so I've got 13 sin theta is equals to negative 12. Okay, in order for me to get sin theta alone, what do? We divide both sides by 13. Okay, the 13 cancels. Remember, we only push shift when we're calculating the angle, theta. Okay, but in this instance, we just want the ratio alone on the left. That's all. Okay, so sin theta is equals to negative 12 over 13. Right. So now that we have sin theta, we have the trig ratio alone on the left. We can now make a deduction from that. Is sin positive or negative in this instance? Okay, negative. My ratio, look. My ratio, sin is negative. Okay, so sin is negative. Okay, and when we look at our course diagram, I'm just going to, the reason why we don't simplify this is because we need it as a ratio so we can label our triangle. So silly old heads. Okay, we need it as a fraction so we can go and label our triangle. Okay. So in which quadrants is sin negative? Remember that A tells me that all ratios are positive. Sin is positive, tan is positive, cos is positive. So where is sin negative? In quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. Okay, understand? Okay, that's for this first piece of information here in orange. Okay, my second piece of information is tan theta is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, it's telling me that tan theta is positive. Okay, because if it's greater than 0, it's positive, because less than 0 would obviously be negative. Okay, and in which quadrants is tan positive? Quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. Okay, which quadrant are we working in? Okay, in quadrant 3, because both of my dots are in quadrant 3. Okay, so after we've now found which quadrant we're working in, we then need to then go and draw our triangle. Yes. Right, so if we had to go draw a triangle, okay, it's a bow tie or a butterfly. Okay, so what I like to do is, just because I know sometimes you guys are going to draw your triangle wrong, is lightly I'll go draw a bow tie. Okay? Lightly. We are in quadrant 3, so we know we're going to draw the part of our bow tie in this quadrant. Just so you know you draw it correctly, you understand? That you don't draw your bow tie, your triangle the other way around. Okay, you guys okay? Right, our reference angle is always in the middle, so we know theta is over here. We've now situated, or we've now found which quadrant we're working in. We then need to go label our triangle according to what they give us. And they give us 12 and 13. But remember that negative isn't for the 12 and it isn't for the 13. We need to see where it needs to go. Okay, so opposite side. So here's my reference. Opposite is going to be?
On the x-axis.
Okay, should we quickly label our triangle? Okay, so this is opposite, so you with me? This is hypotenuse and this is adjacent. Okay, so my opposite side is the y-axis. But what do we notice about the y-axis? It's on the negative piece of the y, right? That means that this distance is negative 12. Okay, negative 12. No, my opposite side is 12. Okay, understand? You must highlight that for me. Okay, so the 12 is the opposite side.
When it's by the negative of the x, the ratio is on side as it is.
Yes, the ratio gives us an indication as to which side of the triangle is going to be negative.
Because when if meant, for example, we did the 12 on the top and then we did on the side of the positive, but the ratio is negative as when we are.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Then my hypotenuse is 13. And you know the hypotenuse can never be negative. Okay. Right. After we've now labeled our triangle, we then need to go find the third side by doing Pythagoras. Okay, so our third side squared is going to be equals to, we are not calculating the hypotenuse, so we need to subtract. Okay, just because our triangle isn't labeled, I've just used S to represent the third side we need to calculate. Okay? When we subtract, you need to take the longest side minus the shorter side, or else it's not going to work out. When you square root at the end, you're going to be square rooting a negative, which you cannot do. It's going to be non-real. Okay. So, side squared is equals to 13 squared minus negative 12 squared. And we use Pythagoras. Now remember, the whole point of us doing this is because what the actual question is asking us, we need this third side. Do you understand? Okay, so 13 squared is 169 minus negative 12 squared is positive 144. Okay, that just stays negative. Okay, so 169 minus 144 is
125.
oh, 125. Okay, we square root our answer. Okay, so the third side it can be a plus or a minus 5. We just need to check, okay? Okay, what do you see? It's on the negative side of the x-axis, which means that third side needs to be a negative 5 and not a positive 5. Understand? If the triangle was on this side, do you see it would be on the positive side? then that third side would have been 5. But because this side is on the x-axis, remember I showed you, this is positive, this is negative. It's on the negative side of the x-axis, therefore that side is negative 5. Yes. It's fine if you just write negative 5. I just want to show you why it's negative 5. Okay, understand? Right, now that we have that third side in our triangle, we can go and calculate what they're asking us. Okay, they're asking us to calculate 1 plus tan squared theta. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're going to substitute. That's it. That's part of the question. The question wants that. But remember, before we can answer that, we might need the third side. Okay. So, tan theta is together or alone. Right, so it's going to be 1 plus, okay, together, my opposite side is negative 12. And my adjacent side is negative 5. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, now do you see how we wouldn't have been able to substitute in here if we didn't do what we did? Okay, but tan theta is being squared. Yes.
Ma'am, if you wrote
Right now, it says without the use of a calculator, so all you'll do is you'll go do it step by step. Okay, so this is going to be 1 plus 144 over 25. Okay?
ma'am, what happened to the
Is it negative 5 squared?
Yeah, so look, negative 12, negative 5 squared.
Oh.
What happened to the tan? Remember, we're substituting what the value of tan theta is. Tan theta in this triangle, its value is negative 12 over negative 5.
Okay.
Understand? If they asked us to calculate theta, we have to shift then to calculate the angle. Okay. Right, so it's plus 1 is 169. I'll move it over now. 169 over 25.
Wait, ma'am, is it 144 divided by 5 plus 1?
Yes. So literally just added 1. I said 1 plus 144 over 25. No, because how would you know that 169 over 25 is 6.76? Then I know you use your calculator and then I'm not going to give you a mark.
Then what if he that's small?
Honey?